and welcome everybody in a leadership discussion at a very special place, and I would say a very special individual. It will be an interesting conversation because the conversation is between Manish Gupta and Manish Gupta. So welcome Manish. You have illustrious career across big transformation and progressive consumer goods company Diageo, PepsiCo, and now with Unilever, with that 400 brands which all the people use. And you would probably have seen it all across the change of operating models, recessions, technology transformations, change of leaderships. So how do you see the role of technology evolving over a period of time?
Thank you, Manish, and hi, everyone. I wouldn't say I've seen it all, but yeah, I've been in CPG and IT for around 25 plus years. And, I can answer that question in two or three dimensions. And let me just pick a few, right? So one is, um, if I look at domains, right, of a typical CPG company, and that's how CPGs have operated for quite some time, you create products, you design them, uh, you procure material, you build them, move them, you sell them, and the consumer consumes it. Now, it all started with IT playing a retrospective role in finance and accounting, where everybody did what they did. It was all non-digital, physical, but you you would go ahead at the end of the month, end of the week, end of the day, record that transaction's financial expression. You gradually then expanded to inventory transactions. And then you started doing billing in technology, and then you started buying, and that's when the ERPs got born. Someone smart said, "Look, why do you do it disparately? Let me build you an app." And so obviously, 90s were all about, which is when I kind of started my career. Right? ERPs were just become pretty big,
Yep.
um, and they really brought that value to the enterprise. But it was really still the transactional enterprise being manifested in hindsight or in parallel with while the business was happening. And there were days when your IT systems could stop, but the business would continue. And the only thing probably in the month end, if IT systems stopped, your month end closure would stop. And then since then to now, where, you know, IT runs the business, forget runs the business, you predict the business, you model the business. It's becoming a lot more intrusive, both retrospectively, parallelly, and sometimes ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's penetrated into research and development. It's penetrated into innovation. It's penetrated into customer relationship management, consumer relationship management, supplier relationship management. Um, there was a time when IT users in an enterprise were well within the walls of the enterprise. Now, IT is all over. My suppliers, my consumers, my customers, my regulators, and my family at times logs into IT systems. Modeling has become a lot more sophisticated. Bespoke tools have come in, very specialized custom build, packaged tools that have come in. Something interesting is happening in CPG, and I think that's a trend that is likely to continue. There was a time when CPG companies, the early adopters, had a lot of in-house programmers, and then package solutions took over. And I'm noticing that with engineering and platforms kind of becoming more and more prevalent, more and more development work is beginning to take place in consumer products and good companies. Integration is playing a very big role. Services are being leveraged. So yeah, a lot has transformed in terms of talent, right? IT departments used to be, one guy, couple of people tucked into the finance department, reporting into the controller of the organization, to now CIOs have the seat at the table, pretty much in cases becoming CEOs and driving the business, because, we all have the worldview of the organization, so as to speak, and we kind of know how parts are linked. And frankly, to me, as a technologist, COVID, while it was a really bad thing for the world to happen, but from a digitalization perspective, I think it was a brilliant thing to happen. I can tell you, what one could not do in 20 years convincing executives about the value of IT, COVID did it in 2 years.
Yeah.
And the adoption is just unbelievable. The penetration of technology, and obviously, the advent of computing, the advent of cloud, miniaturization of technology where computing is in your hand. And I think it's an ecosystem that's thrived. Um, I would also say the last thing I'd say is, what I'd call is the Sunday evening, Monday morning gap, right? There was a long period of time in between where you would feel desperate, you'll feel desolate to come back to work because the experience the consumers are having at home would be substantially higher order.
Yeah.
But before that, it was the other way around. If I needed to do something to do with technology, I had to come to office because my office offered me better technology. And now I see a lot of consumer tech getting into enterprise tech. So yeah, I kind of feel that the change taking place in many, many dimensions, and I kind of making the business much faster, making the business a lot more agile, making a business a lot more responsive to compete more effectively.
So thanks, Manish. It's very interesting. You touched based on multiple aspects of predictability, accessibility from everywhere, consumer, front end. Uh, Unilever just took a very massive transformation on cloud-only organization, and we partnered with you on this. So how do you see the role of cloud in this journey?
Look, yeah, we are 100% cloud. I mean, 99.9% cloud, and we do cloud two ways, right? We've got our own cloud infrastructure that we've taken from Azure and a couple of other players, and we run our applications that are licensed to us or are built by us, and they're kind of hosted in a private cloud, so as to speak.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of our other applications are SaaS applications. Yeah, they run on the cloud, but we don't run the cloud,
Mm.
right? Uh, Absolutely. So you're right. And I think as a technologist, I see cloud as a completely business altering capability.
Yeah.
From a simple piece where you're buying computing of an extraordinary order and storage of an extraordinary order, and what I'd call is in, integration at an extraordinary order at hopefully a lower cost, um, and with a variability,
Mm.
like you can go up, you can go down. Um, I think then there's what I'd call is that's kind of like the warehousing
Mm.
aspect of the cloud. But I think cloud has other dimensions that I think are beginning to get explored. I think the whole DevOps or DevSecOps,
Yeah.
the whole agility it offers us, the ability to literally at a drop of a hat activate capacity
Mm.
or activate containers or activate solutions and sometimes it's just unbelievable. We all use a lot of products where the SaaS players are constantly bringing the change. There's no communication that change coming. The change comes, people start using it, the network effect
Mm.
takes over, and there you go. I also see cloud bringing a massive transformation in terms of engineering aspects of what I'd call as operations of IT,
Yeah.
whether it be testing, whether it be documentation. We all know about generative AI. I think that's completely transforming the way we
Yeah.
work. Microservices are being leveraged by citizen
Mm.
developers in the enterprise to do things, obviously under the governance of an architectural discipline that all organizations or most of the organizations tend to propagate. Yeah, so I think it's pretty much what I'd say. A lot of these things on the tap. That being said, we got to watch out. I think cloud's not free.
Yeah.
Cloud comes at a cost. The analogy I draw is kind of running a home with electricity running in your home with lights and fans and air conditioners and everything else, your gadgets on, and frankly, you can run everything and you can keep it all on, but that comes at a cost. So a lot of smart observability and metering and action orientation around that results from that metering that comes, I think will allow us a lot of opportunities in terms of optimizing the cost from the cloud. So yeah, and I'd say ecosystem integration is becoming possible with the
Mm.
cloud.
Yeah.
You don't not limited by the boundaries of your own capabilities. You can buy services, microservices, and you can pretty much drop them off when you don't want them. Yeah, so I'd say a totally different way of running the business
Yeah.
um, as an enterprise, and our businesses run on cloud. So
Yep. No, I think Unilever always shows and paves the path for the industry, and this was one. And I think, as you mentioned, it's a hygiene for the transformation, but with a cautious. We need to look at. Manish, another thing. I mean, one of the things I mentioned in the beginning that uh, we are also having this session at a very special place. So we are sitting in Bangalore. We're sitting in Accenture Innovation Center, where the best of the minds think together and innovate the latest the trends on this. So Manish, what does India mean to Unilever as a part of it? And there, I understand that there are multiple aspects to it, so you can throw some color on that.
I mean, look, Hindustan Unilever Limited is iconic business in India, certainly within the Unilever world and globally, right? India for Unilever has two meanings, actually more than two meanings, right? Uh, this is a market where we run our second largest business globally, an amazing, amazing engine of efficiency, where consumers exercise their choice, billions of transactions done on a daily basis. India is also where we run all our technology and what we call as UniOps from, our processes.
Yeah.
Not only do we run with about close to 2,500 people that we have, but a large ecosystem of partners like yourselves
Yeah.
and others who provide us process technology, analytics, and data services and security services. That a lot of them are done out of India. Of course, we have a global footprint, but majority of that footprint is in India. I think we export talent from India. Yeah?
Yeah.
There are a lot of senior executives in Unilever, a lot of Unilever businesses and global functions. Indians hold positions, very senior positions of decision making and right, and it continues to be a great talent program. We continue to be the number one organization on campus in India. So yeah, India has a huge meaning and will continue to have a huge, huge meaning both as a market, a talent hub, and a service center for Unilever.
No, I have experienced myself in terms of how Unilever have unleashed the power and quite advanced in terms of ahead of the other companies and leverage that. Manish, I think now, I mean, we started with you've seen it all and on different aspects. What is your sense in terms of which is the new technology which will scale up? I mean, there are a lot of things happening and the things are happening at a faster pace. So what do you?
So two or three things, right? So one is I've always believed that as humans, we overestimate the power of technology in the short term and underestimate it in the long term.
Yeah,
And I'm no clairvoyant. I can't predict, but I can answer that question from a two perspective. I think generative AI is in fashion, but so was metaverse last year,
yeah.
right? I don't know. Look, I don't know what's coming out there, but definitely generative AI seems to be more than flavor of the month kind of a thing. It's beginning to have tremendous impact on our daily lives. We are running multiple experiments and gone live with some capabilities across the business and a very detailed roadmap. Cloud is embraced fully. Uh, I think blockchain is something that's become more infrastructural, I'd say,
Yeah.
where it's kind of happening and you kind of leverage that infrastructure. I think metaverse will come back in some form and shape, probably more affordable, less complex. I think that's where generative AI is stolen the cake.
Thank you, Manish, for inspiring us for the thinking. We look forward to continue to work along with you and transform and set the stage for the industry.
Thank you for the
Thank,
partnership. Thank you for all you do for us.
thank you.
Thank you.